Hello guys, hi, Mahar Afzal here again. As we discussed earlier, we will have a very comprehensive overview of UAE VAT law today. As we discussed in our previous lecture, there is a buyer, there is a seller, there is a tax authority. As a buyer will buy goods and services from the market. Buyer will claim input tax. Buyer has a right to take this input tax back from the authority. As a seller will sell goods or services into the market. Seller will charge output tax. This is the liability of the seller to pay this to tax authority. Moreover, we have discussed this buyer and this seller. This is the same party. As a seller, they are liable to pay. As a buyer, they have a right to receive input tax, though definitely they will net it out. This net amount will be paid or received from the government tax authority, whatever is the case. Or this model was based upon the two assumptions: buyer and seller of VAT registered person, they are dealing with the standard rated taxable supplies. Let's extend our discussions. Now, this sales can be classified into two further categories. This is nature of the sales and taxability of the sales. In the same way, purchases can be classified into two categories: nature of purchases and taxability of purchases. We have created one more section also. This is called other aspects of the law. So this is the overall. We have classified the whole law into 5 sections. So section A, nature of the sales; section B, taxability of the sales; section C, nature of purchases; section D, taxability of purchases; and the 5th section E is other aspects of the law. So let's start. The first thing is nature of sales. What type of sales are there in the VAT law? As per the VAT law, there are 4 categories of sales: out of scope sales, exempt sales, zero rated sales, and standard rated sales. So law will give you the list of out of scope sales, or you will interpret from your discussions. Law will give you the list of exempt sales. Law will give you the zero rated sales. Anything which is not out of scope, which is not exempt, which is not zero rated, it will be considered standard rated sales. So Article 7 of the law deals with the out of scope sales. Article 46 of the law deals with the exempt sales. Article 44 and 45 of the law deals with the zero rated sales. All other sales, it will be consumed standard rated, and Article 3 of the law says all other standard rated sales will be subject to tax at 5%. So this is the total nature of the sales. Sales cannot be beyond these more sections. 4 sections are there. So these two sales, this is called taxable supply. Next is taxability of the sales. Definitely some question will be hitting your mind. The first question is, every seller is liable to charge 5% tax. Second, every product is subject to tax. The answer these two questions, it has been given in Article 2.1 and Article 4.1 of the law. Law says every taxable person who makes taxable supplies is liable to charge tax. So means every taxable person. And law says taxable person is the person who is registered for VAT purposes, or the person who is liable to register for VAT purposes. So all this registration matter, unregistration, deregistration, process mechanism, threshold, VAT grouping, degrouping, all these things we will discuss in the Article 13 to Article 24 of the law. The next thing is the taxable supplies. So taxable supply, before understanding the taxable supplies, we need to understand what is supply. Supply, in the language of a common man, we can say sales. So it can be sales of goods or it can be sales of services. So it can be supply of goods, it can be supply of services, it can be direct sales, it can be indirect sales, it can be single sales, component supply, deemed supply, supply by the government authorities. All these things we will discuss under the Article 5 to 12 and Article 47 of the law. So as we discuss, this supply can be supply of goods and services. We need to understand the goods and services. Article 5 and 6 will tell us about this. We need to think what should be the tax point of supply, at what stage we need to charge the tax. So Article 25 and Article 26 will guide us what is the tax point, at what stage we need to charge the tax. Then what is the place of supply? What is the supply is being made? Where this supply will be taxable? It will be taxable in UAE, out of UAE, in the designated zone, out of the designated zone, which emirates. All these things we will discuss under the place of supply rules. And this is place of supply of the goods, Article 27 and 28. This is place of supply of the services, Article 29 and Article 33. This is the most difficult section in the law. This is the most difficult, how to establish the place of supply of the services. We will focus a lot on this. Stay with us. The next is, what should be the value of the supply? What the supply is being made, what should be the value of the supply? On which supply, on which value the seller needs to charge tax. So Article 33 to Article 44 will guide us what should be the value of the supply. There is a one case which is called profit margin scheme. Under the profit margin scheme, law says as a buyer you cannot claim input tax, and as a seller you should not charge output tax on the sales, but calculate your margin and pay tax to the government on the margin. So this we will learn under the profit margin scheme. So we can say from the date of supply till profit margins, all these Article 22 to Article 43 deals with all these sections. Next, nature of purchases. Purchases by nature, it can be classified into two categories. If we are buying anything from the market, might be it will be subject to tax, might it is not subject to tax. If anything is not subject to tax, then this is not my problem. So there is no question of VAT. I am not paying any VAT. I will not claim any VAT. Supplier has not charged me any VAT. Goods or services are not subject to VAT. So this is not my headache. I am keeping it on site. The next is VATable purchase. Whatever we are as a buyer are buying anything from the market, this will be subject to VAT. So now there are two possibilities are there. One, this VAT, I am allowed by the government to take this input tax. Second, law says no, you can't claim input tax. You are liable to pay, but you can't claim. I cannot claim this input tax. Article 54 to 59 will help us to understand which input tax I can claim, which I can't claim, what is the process mechanism. All these things basically we will learn it here. Next, taxability of the purchases. The section D, we have taxability of the purchases. So I have classified these purchases into two categories. First, local purchase. Second is import. Local purchase, if I am buying anything from the market, if we are buying anything from the market, might be these are goods, might be these are services, this is supplier's primary responsibility to adopt a correct tax position. It doesn't matter where I am based, wherever the buyer is based. Might be buyer is based within a designated zone, out of the designated zone, might the buyer registered person, unregistered person. This is supplier's primary responsibility to adopt the right position. So I am leaving it for the time being. We are not focusing on it. Import. As an import, might be unregistered person is importing, might be registered person is importing. If anything is being imported as an unregistered person, this import as an unregistered person will be subject to tax. Import as a registered person, it depends, these goods are being imported, services are being imported or goods are being imported. If services are being imported, you are a VAT registered person, you are liable to apply reverse charge mechanism. We will discuss in detail. If you are importing the goods, might be you are located at the mainland, might be you are located in the designated zone. If you are on the mainland, you are liable to charge a reverse charge mechanism. If you are within the designated zone, it will be considered out of the scope. We will discuss all this import section under the Article 2, 4, 48, 49 will help us to understand it. Other aspects of the law. These are the other aspects of the law. 50 to 52 deal with the designated zones. 60 deals with the capital asset scheme. Adjustment of output tax, section 61 to 64 deal. Tax invoices, tax credit notes 65 to 70. Reporting, return, tax period, time to issue tax invoice, article 70 to 72. Payment refund 73 to 75. Penalties, maybe administrative penalty, might be tax evasion penalty, Article 76 and 77. Record keeping, Article 78. State in TR in Article 79. Transitional rules, Article 80. We have covered all articles of the law except Article Article 1, which is a definition. We'll discuss, whenever we'll discuss the law, we'll discuss the definitions as well. Guys, one thing I just wanted to highlight, whenever we'll be discussing law, first of all we'll discuss law, then we'll say what the regulation says about that clause of law, then we'll see what has been written in the guide, then we'll see what are the notifications, clarifications, or any further guidance related to this. So everything we will consolidate, everything, then we will give very comprehensive overview of the law. Stay connected with us. We will have a very good sessions. Thank you very much for joining us. Please share your candid feedback. This is very important for us to improve our lectures. More are subscribe our page at YouTube, at LinkedIn. It will be quite helpful for you to get all our lectures on time. Thank you very much for joining us. Stay safe, stay blessed.